Tonight on the News Hour.
Amber Alert. A manhunt is underway to find a 12-year-old Fraser Valley boy who was allegedly abducted by his father. Expert advice. An investigator who helped shut down an online child porn ring has information for parents. And a memorial is held for the dozens of women who have gone missing from Vancouver's downtown east side.
Live from Global British Columbia, the News Hour with Robin Stickley.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. And we are beginning tonight with the desperate search for a boy who was violently abducted by his father. Please take a close look at this photograph of Daniel Sturm. Now, police say he was taken forcibly from his home by his father, Kenneth Morey. Two other men were with Morey when the boy was taken. It is believed they might be in a gray 2001 four-door Honda Accord with the BC license plate on it 321JKW, and that they might be heading for Langley tonight. Our reporter Darlene Heidemann joins us from the scene of the abduction in Chilliwack with the very latest. Darlene.
Robin, police are desperately seeking the public's help in this one. They want help finding a 12-year-old boy. Chilliwack RCMP issued an Amber Alert at about 12:45 this afternoon, just moments after 12-year-old Daniel Sturm was forcibly taken from his grandparents' home here on 2nd Avenue in Chilliwack behind me, allegedly by his birth father. Now, we're told he may have kicked in a door and assaulted the grandparents before grabbing the 12-year-old by the throat and driving away with him, with two other males in a car. Police originally put out an Amber Alert for a 1990 white Honda Accord, but that vehicle was found a short time later at an Abbotsford address at Eagle Street and Lynn Crescent. Police entered a home in that area with guns drawn, but did not find the boy or his father. They did recover the white Honda Accord and seized it as evidence. Now, they believe they may have switched vehicles at this point and are now driving a 2001 Honda Accord with BC license plates 321JKW. That's a gray vehicle. Now, police say they are very worried at this point about Daniel's safety. Here's what they had to say.
We're concerned for his safety. The incident that transpired earlier today did include violence. Daniel was staying with his grandparents, and actually they tried to stop his father from taking him, and they were assaulted in the process, and Daniel was taken forcibly from the residence. So our main concern right now is finding Daniel Sturm, and of course we've issued the Amber Alert to get the public's assistance with that.
Now, police are checking records to see if there's any history of violence. Neighbors say the 12-year-old was living with his grandparents, who were just granted custody of Daniel days ago. Now, the father came all the way from Quebec and has family all over the Lower Mainland, including Langley, and that's why they think he's still around the Lower Mainland. Police say 34-year-old Kenneth Morey was last seen traveling with his father, who's in his 50s, that's Kenneth Sr., and Adam Morey, a 17-year-old family member. Now, police desperately want Daniel Sturm found immediately. They're asking everyone to be on the lookout for the gray Honda Accord and to call 911 if you see the vehicle or if you see Daniel and his father and his family members. This is a very desperate situation, and they really need everybody's help. Robin.
Darlene, thanks so much for updating us. We know that you are going to stand by live in Chilliwack throughout the course of our broadcast tonight, and if there's any developments, we will come back to you live for those. Thanks again, Darlene. Let's show those photos once more that we just showed you. We've just got these in, and these are the photos of the males who are reportedly with Daniel. Adam Morey, described as a 17-year-old relative, 6'1" and about 139 pounds. Kenneth Morey Sr., 56 years old, and is Daniel's grandfather. He's 5'10" and about 220. We don't have a photograph to show you of Kenneth Morey Jr. That's the dad. That has not been released to us just yet, but he is described as having brown hair, blue eyes, 6'2", and about 176 pounds. So, again, Daniel Sturm, 12 years old, and again, that BC plate is 321JKW. And we believe that these individuals are in a gray 2001 four-door Honda Accord. We've had reports that they might have been in Abbotsford, they might have been in Surrey. We also heard they might be heading for Langley, but really the truth is at this point they could be anywhere on the Lower Mainland. So again, we're asking you to keep an eye out for them, and we will certainly continue to update you through the course of this broadcast if there are any developments. developments on Daniel's situation and his whereabouts. All right, we have some good news about a teen who went missing in Whistler this weekend. She has since been found. At about 6 o'clock last night, the 17-year-old girl was walking through the resort with her parents and brother and sister when they lost track of her. The New Westminster family had been visiting Whistler for the day. Search and rescue teams spent this morning putting up posters and searching the village. Around noon, the teen was found safe and sound. Police say she spent the night sleeping in the woods near the Whistler gondola. Today, she phoned her mom and was reunited with her family. Police are treating the incident as a personal family matter. Protecting our children while they're online has always been top of mind. Recently, of course, in the wake of the arrests of 11 men, including 2 from BC, in connection with an international child pornography ring. The sting operation was spearheaded by Australian federal police, and our Ramina Dea sat down with a key investigator for some advice for parents on how to keep our kids safe.
The FBI estimates the global production and distribution of child abuse images is worth $20 billion a year. Police say many of the illegal pictures are traded on a social networking site your children use every day.
So this is a gold mine for a pedophile?
Yes.
The site, Facebook. Agent Monahan is with the Australian Federal Police. The AFP was the lead agency in an alleged international porn ring busted on Facebook earlier this week. 11 people were arrested in 4 countries, including a private school teacher from Vancouver and a Kelowna man.
So this girl hasn't put a lock on her profile?
No.
Everything is there?
Everything is there. So if we click on information, we've got it all there. Birthday.
What her interests are?
Yeah, location.
Agent Monahan says child predators take this information, start their own accounts disguised as children, and then start sending friend requests.
The child here believes that they're talking to another 12, 13-year-old child. And really, it could be a 47-year-old male. The child at risk has a real sense of that this person wants to be my best friend and I can tell them anything now.
And you're talking about a convicted pedophile?
Absolutely.
So this is relatively easy to do then?
Yep. It'll take a couple of minutes to set up the profile and then it's free for all.
But children can protect themselves from becoming targets online. Police say don't accept friend requests from people you don't know. Lock your profile so strangers can't access it. Don't post provocative images of yourself. And never give away personal information.
Do what you would do to someone out in the street on the computer. So if someone out on the street at the shopping centre came up to you and said, "Oh, can I have your phone number and a couple of pictures of you or your street address?" You're not going to do that because we're all aware of a stranger danger. But just because we're on the internet doesn't mean that stranger danger stops.
The calls are growing for a public inquiry into the police handling of the Robert Pickton case. The legal proceedings against the convicted serial killer ended last month when the Supreme Court of Canada rejected his appeal. At a commemoration today for the dozens of women who have gone missing from the downtown east side, friends and family are demanding complete transparency in any public review. Eric Zito now with that story.
Today we're going to give our sisters, our aunties, our nieces a direction. They're no longer tied amongst us, but they're walking with the Creator. Let them celebrate the goodness of life with our ancestors.
A somber candlelight vigil was held today, honoring the dozens of First Nations women who have gone missing from Vancouver's downtown east side. And as today's drumbeat grew louder, so do calls for a public inquiry into the police investigation of serial killer Robert Pickton.
It's probably the most important public inquiry that will ever be brought forward in regard to an issue such as this, and it's important that it be done properly.
Grand Chief Stuart Phillip is among a growing legion of people and organizations calling for an inquiry. Since Pickton's appeal was rejected by the Supreme Court of Canada last month, more details previously subject to a publication ban have been lifted. Police have also acknowledged serious errors were made during their investigation.
I wish that all the mistakes that were made we could undo, and I wish that more lives would have been saved.
Do you think the RCMP or the VPD, have they learned from these mistakes?
Well, I think as it stands at the moment, the short answer is no. We want to make damn sure that there's no whitewash. That, but we're hearing now that there's going to be a transparent process, and that doesn't give us any level of comfort whatsoever. This has got to be absolutely at arm's length, and it cannot be unduly influenced by Minister de Jong's office or through the VPD or the RCMP.
We should have a woman in charge, and there'll have to be women to really hear, listen, and make changes that are going to be necessary to stop this violence.
For those at today's ceremony, they'll have to wait until next month before the province decides whether to have a public inquiry or judicial review.
Concerns on Vancouver Island that a parvovirus outbreak is making the rounds there. 2 dogs have already died in Nanaimo. Canine parvovirus is contagious among dogs and can even live on inanimate objects like cage floors and food pans for days. The Sop family in Nanaimo lost their 16-month-old dog Pruner to the virus earlier this week. Now they're concerned that their adopted dog Casey might have the virus too. Symptoms can include severe vomiting and diarrhea. Dog owners are being encouraged to vaccinate their dogs against parvo and to keep unvaccinated dogs away from public areas.
They're not humans, I understand that, but our dog is like my other child. And I'm sure other people know that as well. They're not just dogs, they're not just animals, they mean something to the family.
We're a bit concerned about the strain that's here right now, and that the dogs that have gotten the disease have died very quickly. One was an adult. Second was a puppy, and the concern is that, you know, with a number of locations being involved where we've been seeing dogs that have been sick and just how severely sick they've gotten, that it could be a bad strain.
To the Okanagan now, where a West Kelowna man is recovering today after he was run over by a powerboat while out kayaking on Okanagan late yesterday afternoon. His homemade kayak was heavily damaged by the crash. RCMP say the motorboat was traveling at over 30 kilometers per hour when it struck the kayak just behind the paddler. The impact sliced the kayak, knocking the man into the water. His ribs were sheared by the propeller and his leg was cut. The victim was wearing a life jacket, thankfully, and was picked up by the boaters who struck him before being taken to shore, where he was rushed to hospital in serious condition. The motorboat operator says high waves prevented him from seeing the victim in the water.
Especially this time of year, you know, weather conditions are always changing at any given moment. You know, a few days ago on Okanagan Lake, we were experiencing waves, you know, 6-7 feet high. Caught a lot of folks off guard. You know, check your weather reports at all times, and if the weather doesn't look too good, maybe stay home.
RCMP tell us there were 5 people on board the vessel during the collision, including 2 children. The operator was licensed, and alcohol is not considered to be a factor. Well, after almost 2 weeks, the search for missing hiker Tyler Wright has been called off, at least for now. Yesterday, 3 helicopters and dozens of volunteer crews took advantage of the weather, hoping to locate the 35-year-old who was last seen 2.5 weeks ago near Squamish. Today, though, the exhaustive search was scaled down. RCMP say the investigation into the Squamish man's disappearance will remain active, but for now, search efforts have been suspended.